All right, let's talk about something we have all been through. Those arguments that feel completely impossible. You know the ones. They're frustrating, they're draining, and it just feels like there's no way forward. But what if I told you there's a better way? Today we're going to break down how you can actually transform those difficult conversations, all based on the work of Harvard negotiator Dan Shapiro.
Oof, yeah, that one stings, right? We've all heard something like this. Or maybe, if we're being honest, we've even thought it ourselves. It's that exact moment when a normal discussion just curdles and turns into a fight. You can feel the walls go up, it's aggravating, and it feels completely hopeless.
I mean, of course you have. We all have. Whether it's about politics with a relative, a big decision at work, or just a simple disagreement with a friend, we hit these brick walls where it feels like the other person is speaking a different language. But here's the key insight. The problem might not be what you think it is.
And that brings us to the real heart of the issue, something Shapiro calls the tribal trap. This is the core reason why our disagreements, especially the big ones, can get so toxic and, frankly, so useless.
So what is this trap? It's a really powerful mindset. It's that little voice in your head that starts whispering, okay, anything they say, I'm just not going to believe it. I won't give it any credit. Your whole goal shifts. You're not trying to understand anymore. You're just trying to prove that you're right and they're wrong. You end up trying to shut down their view just to make yours sound better.
And this is so crucial. The problem isn't the what. It's not really about the specific political policy or the family issue, not at its core. The real problem is the how. It's the process we use to disagree with each other. And you know what? That is something we actually have the power to change.
So, the big question is, how do we escape this trap? Well, Shapiro points to 3 huge barriers that we all need to learn how to overcome. These are the 3 pillars we're going to walk through: your identity, genuine appreciation, and finding affiliation. Really getting a handle on these 3 is the secret to having arguments that are actually productive and way less painful. All right, let's start with the first one, and it's maybe the most personal, our own identity. This is all about what's going on inside of us when things get heated. Ever notice that? How a simple disagreement can suddenly feel intensely personal? It's because the argument has stopped being about the topic and it's latched onto something much deeper inside you, your core values and beliefs. The second your identity gets hooked, as he calls it, the game completely changes. Suddenly, it's not about the issue anymore, it's about your pride. It feels like your very sense of who you are is being attacked, and your emotions just go into overdrive to defend yourself. So, what's the solution here? It's about knowing yourself. Before you even get into a debate, you have to understand what core values and beliefs are driving you. The more you understand who you are, the easier it is to stay balanced and focused, even when someone says something that feels like a threat to those beliefs. Okay, on to the second barrier. This one is about a fundamental human need we all share, the need to feel valued, to feel heard, to feel understood. And here's the wild paradox. In any conflict, both sides are desperately craving a little appreciation. They want to feel like their point of view matters, and yet, it is the absolute last thing either person is willing to give to the other. This is a huge reason so many arguments just grind to a halt. So how do you break that cycle? Shapiro has a really simple, concrete exercise. For the first 10 minutes of the conversation, your job is just to listen. That's it. Don't talk. Your only goal is to find one thing, some piece of logic or value, in their perspective. Why do they believe what they believe? And then, once you genuinely see it, you tell them. Something as simple as, you know what, I hear where you're coming from, and that actually makes sense. This is so incredibly powerful because it taps right into one of our deepest human needs. As the saying goes, there's pretty much nothing we crave more than feeling appreciated. When you make someone feel truly heard, you can change the entire emotional weather of the conversation. You have the power to offer that. And that leads us perfectly into our final barrier, affiliation. This one is all about changing the entire structure of the conflict itself. I mean, you can picture this, right? We usually walk into a disagreement like this. It's me versus you, my side versus your side, my opinion versus your opinion. And the result is totally predictable, a stalemate. You're just 2 rams butting heads and nobody goes anywhere. The shift we need to make is, well, it's conceptually simple, but it is profound. The whole goal is to change the dynamic from me versus you to us versus the problem. You literally turn the other person from your adversary into your partner in solving the problem. And check this out.
Here is the brilliant question Shapiro suggests you can use to actually make that shift happen. Asking for their advice immediately reframes the whole conversation. It's an invitation to collaborate. It signals that you want to work with them, not against them, to find a way forward.
So when you put all of these three ideas together, managing your own identity, showing genuine appreciation, and building affiliation, it becomes way more than just a technique. It's the beginning of what you could call a positive revolution.
Seriously, just imagine for a second what would happen if more of us started doing this. It has the power to transform our personal relationships, for sure, but it could also start to transform our politics, our communities, a positive revolution of greater understanding.
And this kind of massive change, it doesn't happen from the top down. It happens from the bottom up. It really truly starts with each and every one of us making a different choice in our next difficult conversation.
So, the question I want to leave you with is this. Think about a tough conversation that's in your life right now. Using these tools, how are you going to approach it differently? What conversation will you choose to transform first?